qualified audience. And now the host of Here's to Your Health on LA Talk Live, Joshua Lane.
We're back. Thank you for tuning in to this edition of Here's to Your Health on the LA Talk Live broadcast network. I'm your host, Joshua Lane. My guest is one of my series regulars, Dr. Footsie. Dr. Footsie is a cartoonist and an educator, works with adults and children as far as problems with smoking and other health issues. Dr. Footsie, welcome to Here's to Your Health.
Thank you. I appreciate the opportunity. I was listening to that music. I almost could have asked you for a dance.
That's right. Maybe later.
It sounded
maybe
so.
Later.
Maybe later. Maybe. Okay. Real later.
Maybe later.
Okay.
And so you have been, you're a graduate podiatrist.
Yes, sir.
Career as a podiatrist.
Right.
And you discovered early in your career that you could teach children about wellness by using one of your talents. You can draw.
Self-taught at that. I doodled as a kid growing up and always had a liking to do that. But I used to always educate the patients by making it a little fun, by putting a little drawing together. You know, I've always known that when people go to doctors' offices, they're always a little anxiety, they're a little afraid. So you have to make people feel relaxed. And I think when you're going to educate people, I think you got to do it in a fun way, even though it's a serious problem. So I used to always doodle with the little feet, and I'd put eyes on it, put this and that, and it would, it would relax the people or the patients. And you'd be able to explain it to them in a nice, easy manner to do it. And then over the years, I had several. My office was originally in Compton, right. South Central, I think it is, Los Angeles area. And I was there since 1969. So I was there for 40 years.
40 years.
48, even before I came out of the desert, and I had to go back to the desert, right?
Well, you put your time in then.
Yeah, well, I think I always put my time in. I assume the people kind of care. You know, there used to be an old thing I used to always hear. There was a song, I think, written by a group, I think We Are Family or something like that.
Oh, yeah.
And I never kind of said, but then it took me a long time to find out until as I come in and say, hey, cuz, hey, bro, how you doing? Hey, then I must have been in the family. Until one day, say, hey, you mother. I said, oh, wow, for real, I'm in the family now.
Well, that's nice. It's nice to be accepted by your clients and your friends, people in the community. Sure, it's very nice.
Yeah.
And so I noticed you have some photos that was showing some of the new characters that you've been working on.
Right.
And what is this new character?
Okay, or two new characters, I guess we could. You know, it's for a program that we've developed called Club Sugarfoot. It's a diabetic awareness program to let people know on the harmful effects of diabetes in a kind of humorous approach. Do you know that every 20 seconds, for as long as it takes to lace a shoe, someone in the world will have lost a limb. Every 20 seconds, someone will have lost a limb in this world.
Diabetes.
Yeah, well, or just loss of lymph circulation. But a good factor is due to the diabetes. Diabetes has become an epidemic proportions in this country, especially with the type of food that people eat, the kids eat. Kids are lazy. Well, maybe that's a bad word, lazy. But they're used to sitting at the computer and sitting down. They're not active. When we were in school, we always were active. They made us have gym. You had to exercise, right, et cetera, et cetera. So you got little roly-polies out there. And, and there's a tendency when you're younger that the body, you're working and affecting in order for diabetes to not occur. Okay, although in older ages, you get diabetes type 2. You need the pancreas to function to produce insulin.
Right.
That breaks down the glucose into its, because we need for the energy.
Right.
Okay. So, and as juvenile diabetics are people usually they don't have the capability of producing at all insulin.
And that, of course, is very rare, less than 5% of the population.
Yeah, okay.
Right, okay.
But as you get older, with an adult onset of diabetes, okay, is that the pancreas doesn't produce it as much, so so people develop like a second diabetes type 2, etc. They got to sometimes control it with diet. They can control it with medicine and stuff like that. But I think the key is eating properly, exercising, and of course the big thing is you got to choose your parents.
Right.
Genetically. I mean, I couldn't. I wasn't fortunate enough to choose my parents. I'm glad I didn't, because I was happy with my parents. Okay, so I didn't do that. So with the characters with diabetes being first, we had the one program we started, which was called Dr. Footsie's 20 Tips, which I did the program here for you a couple of months ago. It was on a cartoon character, tobacco, against the harmful effects of smoking. And smoking causes a lot of problems. Well, diabetes causes a lot of problems. And so, of course, over the years, I had made my characters into giant puppets, whatever, and put on a little stage show, etc. I guess in order to do what I'm doing in this life, you have to enjoy what you're doing.
Oh, yeah.
And I think enthusiasm. Do you know the word entheos comes from the Greek, which means God within?
Oh, I did not know that.
No. And that's where the derivation for enthusiasm came from, entheos. So you got to feel it. You got to have it. You got to know what you're feeling that you're talking about, and you got to believe it. Well, anyway, so in the last couple of weeks, I developed the Club Sugarfoot program. You could maybe see the sign behind me. And I did about over 60 programs throughout L.A. County, I guess, senior citizen facilities, assisted living, parks and recreation, mainly attracting to the seniors to make it a fun way to educate them on the harmful effects of using the cartoons. So, and that went well. So then, since I've made all these other giant puppets, I said, okay, let me tackle it. And of course, I made it all out of corrugated, or just cardboard, over the years. And they're not small puppets. They're like about 4 feet long, about 2 feet wide, about 3 feet high.
Okay, those are big puppets?
Yeah. And so in order, when I came up with Sugarfoot, and this is a picture of Sugarfoot. I don't know if we're getting it on the camera.
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I made her like she's made out of sugar cubes. So I was thinking, what could we use for sugar cubes? So I came up with, a friend of mine gave me styrofoam. So I got pretty good at carving the styrofoam. So I made the styrofoam, I gave her glasses because her eyesight went, put her hat on her, and of course she's so into all the sweets and everything, so I made chocolate kisses, whatever you call it, the chocolate candy. I made a couple of strawberries and a couple of other things. And that's, and put the glasses on her. It took me a couple of weeks of painstakingly, but I enjoyed it. And I really was going to bring the character up, but I wanted to make sure in handling it, and then after spending all the time, it wouldn't get broken.
Right.
I made a giant box, too bulky to move around. You need other people to kind of try and help.
Sure. Gotcha.
So, and this goes with my story, with my little animation. And of course, Josh, and I think I've become over the years, in the last couple, the toe tapper rapper. Because they all want, why don't you record some rap songs? Rap is not my thing. But I said, hey, maybe if we can attract the kids. So, hey, we wrote a little rap song on Sugarfoot and whatever. And if we got the time, I might be able to.
Hey, you want to do it?
Yeah, if I can remember some of the words and without music.
Remember to make it up. Good.
Yeah, well, we will. Okay.
Well, so you can look the lyrics. No problem. We'll give it to you.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Okay.
Yeah.
So it goes a little like this, okay? Without the music, hopefully I'm going to be, who's this dapper, toe tapper, rapper, health fighting zapper, in a chewing gum like rapper? Dr. Footsie. Let's go, Dr. Footsie. Sweets for my feet, sugar for my toes. When you're diabetic, you're the one that knows. Needles and pins, numbness and tingling, redness and swelling. There it begins. There it begins. Candy is dandy, sugar is sweet. When you're diabetic, That's no good for your feet. Excuse me. Um, uh, Check for blisters, check for cracks. Wear white socks. Don't be lax. Don't be lax. Don't be lax. Void the problems, feel for nails. Check the linings. It's your feet. We're defining. Wash your feet. Dry them well. Test the water. You'll be swell. You'll be swell. You'll be swell. Uh, we got it here. Ulcers and gangrene. Void nicotine. Keep your feet very clean. If they amputate, can you tolerate? Give an inch, lose a foot. That's a cinch. Lift them feet, clap them heels, tap them toes. Gonna tell a tale of Sugarfoot, Sugarfoot. How sweet it is. A little Jackie Gleason, because he was my favorite. Anyway, so
Well, that was very good.
that
Good for
was
you.
the rap, and because we got it with a little beat and a whole bunch of stuff to it, and it goes like that. So what we created, and I say we, I've got a couple of really good people that have gotten involved in what we're doing. So this was the answer to the Dr. Footsie's 20 tips. So we call this Dr. Footsie's 20 sweet bits, like bits of information, but like a chocolate bar. So I don't know.
Nice, Footsie, very nice.
Are we getting that on the
Yeah.
Okay. So what we would do is
Looks like a big box of chocolate.
yeah, it's a big box of chocolate. Okay. So what we'll do, we use the individual characters. Usually Sugarfoot and her significant other.
I'll hold that for you.
Okay, thank you, young
This
man.
is Sweetie Toe.
Sweetie Toe,
Sweetie
which
Toe,
we
very
also made a puppet of him too. Okay.
Okay, good. Sweetie Toe. Very
Yeah,
nice.
right. Okay. So what we wanted to do, so we made them just like our program for kids as trading cards. Now, growing up as a kid, I used to collect a lot of trading cards. I think you originally told me you're from back east, and so I imagine they had trading cards all over. We used to save the baseball cards. So why not get to kids and people in a fun way so they could trade? And we call it TLC. Trade, learn, and collect. We want people to be able to share it with other people and make it like it's a program that you only get 4 cards in the packet, okay? You don't know which 4 you're going to get. The idea is to collect them all. But we were trying to tie in different corporations, companies. Hey, I'll sponsor a program. I'll buy so many of them. And so when people, let's say, would go to a restaurant, a dry cleaners, places where they don't sell drugs, alcohol, tobacco products, in a wholesome kind. And so when they purchase so much stuff, where they bought so much of dry cleaning, well, they get a little packet with the 4 cards in. You don't know which 4. So the idea is to collect them all. So what we did, in a fun way, was to be, and I'll try and go through the cards with you, Josh, okay? So bit number 1, okay, you want to hold them up then?
I'll hold them for you.
Yeah, okay. And so I'll have to look at, okay. It's a picture of Sugarfoot.
Sugarfoot.
Okay. It's a picture of a shoe with no foot in it, 2 bare feet, and a thumbtack. And the back is there. Diabetics, sweet bit number 1. Never walk barefooted.
For diabetics.
Yeah, but for anybody, really. I remember my mother used to sew a lot, and occasionally, she'd drop a needle. That's why, and needles get caught in the rugs.
Right.
And boy, I'd hate to even walk around because over the years, I've pulled needles out. We're talking when I was practicing.
Now, as a practicing podiatrist,
Yeah.
you really feel people should be wearing shoes.
Yeah, some kind. I mean, I get a little. I don't think you should walk around barefoot anywhere.
All right.
Unless you had a floor like my mother's and you could eat off it. Now, my floor might be a little bit different.
Gotcha.
I don't know. You might have the cockroach and everybody else eating in there, but that's okay. So the idea of not walking barefoot, you don't know what you're going to step on.
Right.
Could be a broken glass that the grandma had. She fed the grandkid. They dropped the glass or whatever. It broke. maybe they couldn't sweep it up or
Right.
whatever. So and so you're going to get, and diabetics again, when you lose that sensation. I'll go to the next card in a minute. Okay, you don't want, because losing the sensation is very important. Now, number 2, we had to give Sweetie Toe equal opportunity. Now, when somebody once asked me, when I created Sugarfoot probably about 15, 20 years ago, but then just recently started. So I needed to make her a mate. Yeah. So we came up with Sweetie Toe. And people kept saying, well, why Sweetie Toe? Shouldn't she be Sweetie Toe? And he be Well, I'm not about to change the name now.
Right.
So he is Sweetie Toe. And maybe if they have a little kid, that may be Sugar Baby. I'm not too sure. Okay. So that number 2 shows, picture Sweetie Toe, a tub, a little water in there, looks like a towel. On the back, you want to bathe your feet daily. I think that's what the number 2 is here. Wash feet daily. Dry thoroughly. Oh, Josh is going to do good as a prop man. I could see he turns the things.
Thank you very much.
Oh, you're welcome. Number 3. Okay. Again, we go back to Sugarfoot. Okay. A little tub of water. A little thermometer, a couple of feet in there. Okay. You always want to check the water. Diabetics lose that sensation in their feet. So they can't tell how hot or something is. And if it's hot water, too hot, you're going to burn the skin. Right. You burn the skin, you cause an ulcer, you allow bacteria and other organisms to come in. That's the big downfall. Once you get an organism to grow in that foot there, in an environment, and it goes so rapidly, you got some problems.
Right.
Okay? And then, like I said, the ultimate thing is you want to avoid, okay, so you want to test the water before bathing.
Right.
Okay? Number 4. Okay? Back to Sweetie Toe in the picture. I drew a bed scene, put like a sock on it, one sock on, one barefoot, and showing like it's nighttime, okay? Most people, when they go to bed at night, if it's cold, you should put on more socks. People, you do not ever want to use electric heating blanket, hot water bottles. Do they still use hot water bottles? Maybe they do.
Why, for the feet it's bad?
Yeah, because again, if it's so hot and you're a diabetic, and one of the things that goes, you lose that nerve sensation. Right. You don't know how hot it is. You could be putting it on. It could be like an oven, right?
Right.
And it feels good. But meanwhile, it's doing its damage and burning the skin. Were you going to ask me something?
No, I wasn't.
Okay, and the back of that, okay. If feet cold at night, wear socks. Or find somebody to sleep with, I guess.
That's another option, too.
That's always an option. The only problem is my daughter kept taking the teddy bear back home. So I had nothing, okay. Number 5. Okay?
Yes.
Back to Sugarfoot, showing what I drew up the bottom of the foot, a little magnifying glass. You want to always check on the bottom of your feet. Always. Or have somebody check for you. You don't know what may be happening there. You can't see, especially as you get older, your eyesight goes. You can't see and whatever. So the back of that one, the response will be to keep me honest. Check for blisters, cuts, and scratches. They could occur there, and that should be done daily. Okay? So that's another reason why you got to find a roommate, a partner, or somebody. Because if you're too late, at least somebody's looking after you. Oh, let me check to see if you got cracks there. Okay.
No, good advice.
Well, okay.
Thank you.
Number 6. We're moving along. Number 6. Sweetie Toe. A little shoe with a little odor looking like something coming out of it. Another little foot looking with the binoculars, okay? You always want to check inside. Turn it around, Josh, because, again, I don't know them all by heart. Inspect inside the shoes daily. Again, you don't know what may be in that shoe. Going back to that story.
You mean like a nail in the shoe?
Well, yeah. Going back to that story, the little kid breaks a glass in Grandma's house. or for whatever. Or she was walking around in grandma's shoe, or she got a whole bunch of sand in there from the beach. I don't know.
Right.
So again, you're walking around, you don't know what's in that shoe.
Right.
So you check it.
Okay, good.
Okay,
Seems prudent. Okay.
Yeah, prudent. Okay. Okay, number 7. Showing Sugarfoot 2 different type size shoes. A little big shoe and a little shoe. What you want to do is you want to make sure that the feet are fit properly. Never too big, the shoes, never too small.
Okay.
You want to make sure. Okay. I think. Number 8, okay? Sweetie toe. Now, I'm from an old school, okay? And when they used to teach in school, always the diabetics should wear white cotton socks. Now they've got diabetic socks, different colors. I guess it's made out of another kind of material.
What was the reason for the white socks? There was blood?
No. You don't want, when you wear colored socks, the dye may run.
Oh. Mm-hmm. Right.
Sweat and whatever. Again, cleanliness is next to godliness, right?
Right.
Okay, so you wanted to. So it should be always wear white cotton socks. Okay? That's my thinking. Okay. Number 9. Okay? Now, you don't want to wear, and I think this is one, maybe the short stockings or whatever, okay? You always want to make sure that your socks and the stockings are the right fit too. Not only having the right fit on the shoes, the socks also. They do cover your feet. So you want to make, because if it's too tight of a pantyhose, it has a tendency to pull the toes back.
Huh?
And when it pulls it back, then you get the contraction of the toes, you develop the hammer toe corns, you get calluses. The diabetics do not want to have problem with irritations on the foot, okay?
Already.
Okay. Number 10. Now, they've been giving me a hard time with this, people. I don't know if they use these anymore, but hey, we need to come up with 20 things. Maybe they use them at weddings still. I don't know. You don't want to use garters or garter belts. I guess what they call garter belts. Do they still use the garter belts?
Not that I know of, but hey.
I mean, I haven't checked lately, but, because it constricts.
Anything goes, I'm not,
it constricts. So, no garter belts, okay?
No garter belts.
Okay.
Move on.
Okay. Now, number 11, okay? 7-11. We got the 11. Okay. When you wearing pantyhose, I guess this could be mainly for the women. I guess some women could wear pantyhose, okay? And I didn't even know that they had fancy ones that had seams on them. I guess to make it look fancy, they had a seam.
Okay, sounds good to me.
Okay. You want to avoid pantyhose or something like that without seams, okay? Because that's an irritation point. I see we're moving on the time, so okay. Number 12 is Sweetie Toe again, okay? You do not want to ever do bathroom surgery. You don't want to ever cut your own corns and calluses. It's a no-no. You cause more problems and could create a problem.
What, infection?
Yeah. I mean, how good when your eyes go bad, you nick someone, who knows what kind of instruments you were using.
No, good point.
Whether you're using the stuff you were cutting the artichokes with or whatever, I don't know what you might have been using.
You've seen all this stuff as a podiatrist?
Oh, yeah. I don't know for cutting artichokes, but whatever they had.
Do not cut corns and calluses, okay.
Right. Okay. This is another one, okay. Never wear, my mother used to say, she used to always, I guess you come from a family, you're trying to get the most mileage with the economy. She used to always, if you had a hole in your sock, she'd sew it up. Not a good idea.
No.
Okay? No, because it causes a seam there, and that causes an irritation. So never wear mended socks. If you can't afford it, I don't know what to tell you, but never wear mended socks.
Okay. All right.
Okay?
No mended socks.
Okay. Number 14. Do not ever use any chemicals over the counter, because those chemicals like Free-Zone and the stuff you buy at the pharmacies got acid in there. That'll eat at the corn. It'll also eat at your skin. It'll ulcerate. It'll cause a problem.
Oh, so you're opposed to those?
Yeah.
Okay,
don't ever use any of that
right.
stuff with chemicals in it. Okay.
Right, okay.
Now, here's one of my ones. Okay. Number 15.
Yeah.
What I call things to do. So Sunday, you make like you go shopping, which I never take my little list out with me. Okay, Sunday, change socks. Monday, change socks. Tuesday, change socks. Wednesday, change socks. Thursday, change socks. Friday,
so there's a pattern there.
yeah, somewhat of a pattern. And even on 8 days a week, you could change then too. Okay, so you should always change your socks daily.
Okay.
Just like shoes should be changed because it needs to get air dried
Okay,
out.
that seems fair.
Okay. Number 16. Okay. You want to always look between your toes, especially if you can't see, have somebody, because you may have something growing between the toes. You might have fungus there. You might have humongous the fungus among us, and you don't want anything going down there. Right.
All
Okay.
right.
Number 17. Okay, 17. This is showing a picture with, as you're a diabetic, you should at least once a year, if not more, you may visit your foot doctor.
Right.
As an important thing, and tell them you're a diabetic, okay? Because that's important. Okay. If this is number 19, maybe we left off 18. Where was 18? Maybe misplaced. Oh, here's 18
Okay.
stuck behind 7.
Okay, sorry, 18. There we
Okay.
are. Yes.
When you do go to the foot doctor or wherever you go to the doctor and you feel anything, make sure that you want to tell them you are a diabetic. What are you going to tell him? No, if he's going to trim your corns or cut your calluses or cut your tongue, let him be aware of it. Be a little bit more careful. Not that he won't be careful. So you want to tell that to the doctor. Okay.
Right.
18. 19 behind it there.
Yes.
Okay.
Oops.
If you're a little on the chunky side, one thing that diabetic, you should always try and lose extra weight, exercise. So that's important.
Okay.
Okay, so no big.
Excellent.
And number 20,
Yes.
get as much exercise. And I made like a little game. I've actually had a rolled out thing where people can play like a hopscotch, no diabetes. And the one thing, the bonus card that you want to avoid gangrene. That's our famous character. You do not want to, because off with the limb. Every 20 seconds, it will happen that fast. So that basically would cover on the general thing with the program, with the cards, and what we're trying to do. And
Well, Footsie, that seems very strong. How can the listening audience
Yes, sir.
to LA Talk Live get in contact with you?
well, they could look me up on the internet. Okay, on my website.
Yeah.
I go under the stage name of Dr. Footsie.
Dr. Footsie.
Name stuck, so we
a
stuck
good
with
name, very good
okay,
name.
so it's www.drfootsie.org. And you could call me on the phone.
Good, give us your number.
It's 310 New Feet, 310-639-3338, excuse me.
Okay, that's very good. Dr. Footsie,
Yes,
I'd
sir.
like to thank you for being a guest today.
You're welcome. Hopefully we'll have an opportunity to come back. And then when they play the music next time, I'll
We'll
make
dance.
sure I wear the tuxedo.
That's a good idea.
And we'll dance and we'll do a number.
That's a very nice idea.
Thank you very much.
You've been listening to Here's to Your Health on the LA Talk Live broadcast network. I'm your host, Josh Lane. We've been chatting with Dr. Footsie, and we'll be right back after these important messages.